Hey, it's Steve Wagner. I've got 28 years of real estate experience, about 20 of them as a manager, trainer, coach, mentor. I've trained and managed and mentored thousands of agents and overseen about 50,000 transactions. But I've got a video series called Why Real Estate Agents Fail. This is advice for newer agents, but it's also for experienced agents, what I call rut busters, growth catalysts. Going to learn a lot here. Over the course of the 28 years, I probably had 100 people call saying, I'm getting into the business. What's some words of advice? And so depending on when you caught me, any of these 25 could come up. They're all important. So I thought I'd get it all condensed here in a video series. And so again, these are ideas for existing agents as well on how to get out of the slump and how to experience a surge. It's a checklist for a healthy, thriving real estate career. And these are in no particular order. I'm only going to go 5 per session, and I'm going to try to keep it at 5 minutes. The first one may be a little bit longer. Now, I did create a group called the Progress and Leads Group. It's a division of Virtual Properties Realty. This group is specifically focuses on these 25 elements, incorporating them into the program, maximizing them, overcoming the negative aspects of them. You can learn more about this at yvpr.com. But we got to face the harsh reality that 87% of all people that get in the business fail. They're out within 5 years. Of the 13% that stay in after 5 years, only about 15% of those earn consistently 50,000 or more. So what does this mean? Why does this happen? Well, the number one thing we have to get a grip on is we've got to have a plan for making continuous progress. Lack of momentum is the hope buster, and you must seize momentum and you must maintain it. I see a lot of people getting it and then they don't maintain it. Some quit due to slow progress, never grasping that. In fact, slow progress is progress. I see people get into the business with high hopes, but then quickly run out of money, run out of time. Why? Because they're not making progress, and ultimately they run out of hope. And that's what I hate to see. You know, success is kind of like a snowball. You got to get it moving. And the more you roll in that right direction, the greater it gets. We've got to kind of take on the mentality of the tortoise. The tortoise always wins the race. Also got to go back on Newton's law. People think of this as physics, but it's also a law of real estate, that your career will not change unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. That means the force that you put in to your career. All these things are going to be talked about in the other 25 elements, but we've got to be proactively acting on your career because it's going to stay at rest and until you act upon it. And sometimes it seems like it's pushing like a bus or a train, and it looks like it won't move, but if you just keep pushing with smart elements, you'll get that thing going, and it'll be kind of like a runaway freight train. So how do we do this? Well, the first thing you have to understand is prospecting is job one. It is priority one. A lot of people think it's working with buyers, working with sellers. That's what they envision when they're getting their license. But that's it. So you got to understand element one, prospecting is your highest priority. And you got to have this thing called leads flowing in. You need a steady flow of leads. And there is a magic number of 50. Now that's a plus or minus figure. But let me explain it from the words of Tom Ferry. The bottom line is about 50 conversations equal one sale. So you have to have 50 good conversations, 50 intelligent conversations before you can get a sale. So in other words, again, if you want 20 sales, you're going to have about 1,000 good conversations, intelligent conversations. So success doesn't just come to you. You can't sit in a cave like the guy in the upper left corner. You have to be proactive and you have to go get it. Now, I do want you to watch my video. I've got a scam alert, and that the word lead, I almost don't like to use it because it's an overused word. It is the bait in real estate. They're going to be throwing this bait like free cheese out there, trying to get you to get into some kind of scheme on a 50% split, 60% split, sometimes even less than that. You have to understand, I've got a whole video on what is a lead, and what is a quality lead, and what does this all mean to you. But please watch that video before you do anything foolish. All right, number 3. Let's move on to one of the most important things is you've got to have good peer or sphere support. You got to surround yourself with people that are on the same mission as you. You need to surround yourself with people that reflect who you want to be and how you want to feel. Energies are contagious. You become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose them carefully. I know we all have family. I know we all have friends. We're not going to excommunicate them, but we have to counterbalance some of the people that are either somewhat negative or just not really that supportive, or they're not boosting you up. Eagles don't take flight lessons from chickens. So again, let's review the first 3. The first one's lack of progress. The second one's kind of lack of leads, and the third one is lack of a good support group. I guess you can see why we named the program the Progress and Leads group. Number 4 is poor utilization of time. Time is potentially your most precious resource. Now, I'm thinking it could be money as well, but time is definitely up there by most people's standards. Now, we have to understand the 80-20 rule, and that basically means that 20% of your efforts will bring 80% of your results. Our natural tendency is to work on the 80% of the efforts that bring 20% of the results. So if you're going to be very successful, you need to have some sort of a accountability program, maybe accountability partners, a coach. We all have that in a Progress Leads group, but you need to have check-ins. You need to be not in a cave, but you need to be out in the open. And another great technique is what Brian Tracy says, and eat that frog. And that's basically every morning, take the task that you least want to do, and most likely that is the one that's going to yield the most results. But just eat that frog first thing in the morning. You want to at least eat 1 frog first thing in the morning. And then as you get used to the taste of frogs, then you possibly add 2 or maybe even 3. That tip alone will change your entire career. Another tip that will change your entire career is time blocking. Time blocking these 20% of these tasks that bring 80% of the results. You can look at the graph on the picture on the lower right corner. You basically put in black, you're going to be prospecting. And what are we talking about, that 20%? Remember, the number 1 rule is prospecting is job 1. So you make sure you time block it, and you do not move that. It's one of the most effective productivity tools around, and it will change your career if you time block in prospecting. You've got to do this. All the great agents out there, the top producing agents, all do this. Number 5, poor utilization of money, or the unwillingness to invest. You either don't have money, or you just simply don't want to invest in yourself. Or worse than that, you waste the money that you have. You've got to push that green invest button, but you got to make sure you're also pushing that red ROI button. You cannot be wasting your money, whether it's time, money, or the heart. Invest wisely. You cannot be having money going down the drain. So again, there are some people that just won't push that invest button. If you go to Broker Metrics and look at the top producing agents, you'll notice a staggering similarity with them all. They invest a high percentage of their GCI back into their business. So that's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. If you implement those 5 things, your career will take off. There are other ones coming, so watch these other videos. And then if you want to learn more about virtual properties and the Progress Leads group, go to yvpr.com.